A problem I ran into in the year 2014, which was right after I finished my undergrad, was I was training and I was just tired. I was tired all the time. I could never recover between sets. I do a heavy set of squats. Maybe it was like 8 reps, and I'd just be winded. And I couldn't accumulate any volume. I couldn't get anything done, and I'd like go home and think I was getting a lot of rest. I was getting a lot of food. I just couldn't recover. I still couldn't recover, and I couldn't perform in the weight room. So soon after that, I started watching Greg Nuckols' videos. He's of Stronger by Science. And he talked about work capacity and doing aerobic training for lifters, even if you're just interested in powerlifting, and the benefits of aerobic training. Aerobic training meaning like keeping your heart rate at like a spot where you can like talk normally, but your heart rate is still up. So not to the point where like you're breathing super heavy, but and you're actually just maintaining your heart rate at that spot, maybe for 30, 40, 50, maybe even 60 minutes. You could do 20 minutes, but that would be more like an active recovery. If you actually want to like develop aerobically, you do it for 30 or more. So anyways, I ran into that problem, and then I actually don't remember how I got out of it, but there was other issues with like, I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't in grad school yet. I got accepted into it later. I didn't have much going for myself at that time, so that took away from my recovery. But my work capacity was just really low because of those problems. So actually recently in the last 2 weeks, I've done actually purely aerobic training. And if you're interested in maximizing muscle hypertrophy or maximizing strength or maximizing power, and you're at a kind of more advanced level, like you're not a beginner that's only been training for like 2 or 3 years, you can block your training and do what they call, in block periodization, the book, what they call concentrated loading blocks, where you do say 2 weeks of aerobic capacity and then maybe a month or 2 of hypertrophy, and then a month or 2 of strength, and then a month or 2 of power, or maybe the power phase will be a little bit shorter. And these are based off the residuals of training. So if you're running into this work capacity issue where you do a heavy set and you can't recover, you can't recover between workouts even, you probably need to put some aerobic based training in your program. I'll show you, I'm going to document what I did for those 2 weeks. I'll just put that in the description of the workouts I did Monday through Friday. Sometimes I did weekend workouts. So it was just purely aerobic training. And now I'm going to go into a hypertrophy phase. And what that's going to do is now I'm going to recover a lot faster between sets. So my quality of performance with the reps will be a lot better. I'll recover faster between workouts, and as long as I can maintain this aerobic base that I've built, I can continue that through the strength phase, through the power phase, and just recover so much better between sets and so much better between individual workouts too. So if you don't want to do the total like block periodization approach where you do 2 entire weeks where you take everything off, you can actually just throw in aerobic base type workouts in the week. Maybe that fits into like a high-low Charlie Francis method where you do an intense day and then a low like aerobic base type day. There are arguments for and against that, but or you could even do it on the weekend. It's as simple as you could go for a hike, as long as your like heart rate's getting up there and you're doing it for like 30, 40, 50 minutes. That's a good way to like just keep that aerobic base there. But you can look at the examples of the workouts I did, which were the contralateral workout. I got that from Cal Diets at Minnesota. There's a 3D contralateral, which I got from Matt Van Dyke, who was at Denver and as at Texas. There's also a singles workout, which I got from Cal too, where you do like 150% load bench press, 150% squat, and you just go back and forth for like 7 minutes. And then you can do just basic, like I've done stair sprints, just again keeping the heart rate at that spot where you're kind of breathing heavy but not super heavy, and you're able to keep that pace up. And then I've done sled sprints too, where you just push in like not a super heavy sled, but push it for 10 seconds, rest for 40, 50 seconds. There's so many variations, there's so many things you can do as long as you understand, get the heart rate to that zone. And I think it's zone 2 or something like that. Like I've seen it's like maybe 155 beats per minute or around there, but I wouldn't necessarily focus on that. I would focus on the idea that you can maintain a conversation with where you're at, with the activity that you're doing. But actually you can go above that and go below that, just kind of stay in that range. So like I'm doing that I'm doing that sled sprint, 10 seconds, like pretty fast. I'm kind of losing my breath, but then it gets down, so like it averages out to stay kind of in that zone. Other things I've done were like, I've done like boot camp type workouts where you do like a sled sprint and then a backward sprint and then like a med ball throw and then like a sit up or something, like a circuit basically. But yeah, those are kind of all of the things that I've used, and you could use them. And actually, if you understand that it's just like getting the heart rate to that zone, if you don't want to go in the weight room and you don't want to go do sprints or stair sprints because you don't enjoy it or you need a break, do something that you enjoy. You could even play like ultimate frisbee. I've done that. You can just shoot around with the basketball, but like do it for a significant amount of time. I think the problem that I ran into and a lot of people can run into is that if you're interested in like strength, all you do is the heavy lifting, and like you lose your work capacity over time. Or hypertrophy, you probably won't run into that issue if you do hypertrophy training super often, because your heart rate is actually elevating quite a bit more, and like you're not resting a whole lot between sets. But with power type training, you might run into that issue because you're trying to take a lot of rest to keep the speed of the reps high or the quality of performance high. So yeah, that's something that helps me have better workouts, that I had no clue what the problem was. But then I found Greg Knuckles' video, I started looking more into that. Alex Viada also had work on that, where he was talking about if you're training for a powerlifting meet and a marathon at the same time, how do you do both? And then showing that if you're training for a marathon, there's benefits to training heavy, and if you're doing a powerlifting meet, there's benefits to training, I guess similar to like a marathon runner. Yeah, let me link some videos to show you like all the things that I've done this whole week. And if you're running that issue where your workouts just suck and they're terrible, there's a ton of variables, just like with anything, but this could be one. And at the same time, maybe it breaks up the monotony of training, and then that gets you back and like makes you hungry to get back at it. So that's something that's helped me quite a bit, and I've seen with quite a few people. So if that's your problem, try it out. Maybe that's going to be the fix. All right.